Trillions of dollars are about to change hands, but you aren't going to touch any of it. IPOs from companies like SpaceX and OpenAI are finally coming, but by the time the bell rings, it'll be too late. Retail investors like us are just the exit liquidity for VCs cashing out of 1000x returns. But I found us a secret loophole. It's a tiny Canadian stock that no one is talking about, holding concentrated stakes in names like Canva, SpaceX, OpenAI, and Databricks at pre-IPO valuations. And here's the crazy part. It has a market cap of under 250 million and trades at a massive discount to its closest competitor. The last time I called out private market proxies like Kraken Robotics and EchoStar, their stock prices exploded. In today's video, you'll learn how to beat the herd once again, because if you don't position yourself early, you're going to be left out of one of the biggest wealth transfers in history. Before we begin, please note that my videos are not investment advice. You must do your own research. Stack Capital sponsored me to do research on their stock, and I also hold a personal position in the company. If you invested in SpaceX in 2020 and OpenAI in 2023, you would have 31x your money on SpaceX and 17x your money on OpenAI. So why didn't you? Well, it's because the game is rigged. Only wealthy accredited investors are legally allowed to buy into private startups. It doesn't matter if they're generating $0 or $10 billion in revenue, the government assumes you aren't sophisticated enough to understand the risks involved. But this wasn't always the case. Back in the old days, IPOs were like the only option for how companies could raise money. Microsoft went public at a valuation equivalent to just $2 billion today. Now with IPOs like Figma, it's not hard to see what's happening. These IPOs are just designed to let insiders exit at the most obscene valuations. But where there's inefficiency, there's opportunity. Enter Jeff Parks, a young and hungry Toronto hedge fund manager. It was 2021 and the wealth disparity was obvious. So he had a genius idea: build a publicly traded investment company on the Toronto Stock Exchange that buys stakes in private companies with asymmetric potential. In June 2021, Stack Capital IPO'd. It raised over $100 million to execute on this novel strategy.
We want to be the de facto private equity player in people's portfolios. Over 90% of the people out there in the world are non-accredited investors. If you don't have something like Stack, you're not getting the option to be able to invest in those companies. We give our investors that access, that ability to capture that in their own wallets.
So what startups are you buying when you buy $1 of Stack stock? I think we can save the best for first. SpaceX is Stack's second largest position. The fund first invested at a mere $100 billion valuation, and then again at $350 billion. If SpaceX is worth over $1.5 trillion when it hits markets this year, Stack stake offers one of the best ways to play it. And with the recent XAI merger, even $2 trillion could be on the table for this one. Next, we've got to talk about CoreWeave. This is Stack's second largest position, and it's the fund's first major win. Management bought over $11 million worth of CoreWeave when it was still a private company, and they locked in nearly 3x returns as of Q3, selling half of that position for cash. Then we've got Canva, which makes up 10% of Stack's portfolio. If you thought Figma's IPO was big, Canva will embarrass it. The design software company has been profitable since 2017 with $4.4 billion in ARR compared to just $1 billion for Figma. Their largest investor, Blackbird, has told LPs that Canva is ready for a second half 2026 IPO. And the recent hiring of Zoom's former CFO makes it seem even more likely. Stack stake in Canva is already up 58% since it was acquired, but an IPO could see Canva fetch double its most recent $42 billion price tag. But Canva's IPO will be nothing compared to OpenAI's. This is probably coming sooner than we think, perhaps at the end of this year, because without an IPO, OpenAI simply could not survive. Stack invested in Q3 at a $500 billion valuation, but OpenAI is already raising at $800 billion with a $1 trillion price target expected for the IPO. The next exciting AI player in Stack's fund is Databricks. You might have seen me make a video on this Palantir competitor a few months ago. This big data startup is in a league of its own, doing $5.6 billion in ARR while growing 65% year over year with 80% gross margins. Their IPO has been floated for a while, but their CEO did say that it could be very possible they go public this year. Beyond these brand name positions though, Stack is also stocked full of other asymmetric bets on even earlier stage companies, and many of them are trailblazing in the hottest industries. Shield AI is about as exciting as it gets. This Palantir-backed defense company is building drones that can operate without GPS, communications, or human pilots. Their HiveMind software has already been combat tested in Ukraine with over 200 Russian targets identified. They're backed by A16Z and Lockheed, and they're targeting $1 billion in revenue by 2028. And the investment stack made in SHIELD is already up 60% from cost. If this fundraising happens, SHIELD will be worth around 3 times more than the implied valuation when Stack first invested. Then there's Locus Robotics, the global leader in AI-driven warehouse automation. They've got robots deployed at over 350 sites for customers like DHL and Staples, boosting productivity by 2 to 3x. The common shares Stack picked up in early 2024 are already up 42%. As AI becomes more physical and less digital, companies unlocking that hardware layer are going to be worth a lot more in the future. Hopper is also a sleeper. You may remember this as an app to find cheap flights, but it's not just a travel app anymore. Their B2B business now accounts for 66% of their $850 million in revenue by white labeling fintech products to players like Capital One and Marriott. CEO Frederic Lalonde is eyeing an IPO on one condition: the trailing revenue hits $1 billion first. And just last month, Stack deployed some of their idle cash into X Energy. It's a nuclear energy startup backed by Amazon and Ares Management that's rumored to be on the brink of an IPO. Amazon alone has committed to deploying 5 gigawatts of X Energy's XE100 reactors across the US by 2039. Now, there's other positions in Stack's portfolio that you can go check out, but I want to answer the central question here, which is how much upside does Stack stock really have? To calculate Stack's fair value, I'm making a few assumptions. And note that share prices are in Canadian dollars and based on Stack's TSX ticker STCK.TO. For one, I'm calculating Stack's current fair value per share at $18.39 because SpaceX is now reportedly worth $1.25 trillion. Then I'm marking all of Stack's investments in cash except SpaceX, Canva, OpenAI, and Databricks at their book value at the end of Q3 and not assuming any appreciation. This creates a strong margin of safety despite all the other high upside holdings. In a bear case, let's say SpaceX settles at $1 trillion, OpenAI is worth $500 billion, Canva is worth $42 billion, and Databricks is worth $100 billion. Once these companies go public and become accessible, we could see Stack's premium to NAV decline to say 0.75x. This would put the stock at $12.89 or about 32% downside from current levels. For a base case, SpaceX is worth $1.5 trillion, OpenAI $1 trillion, Canva $70 billion, and Databricks $200 billion. And because Stack has scarce assets investors can buy nowhere else, Stack's premium to their net asset value might grow to 1.1x. This would equate to a post-fee share price of 23.25 Canadian per share, or about 23% over Stack's price on February 11th. Then there's the bull case. We got SpaceX at 1.75 trillion, OpenAI at 1.2 trillion, Canva at 100 billion, and Databricks at 225 billion. In this scenario, let's assume extra hype. The market stays hot, and S1s from all these names get filed in a frenzy over the second half of this year. It's here where I think Stack could really land that premium to their net asset value, something like 1.3x, and that would equate to roughly 61% upside from current levels. And in none of these scenarios am I applying a premium that is anywhere similar to Stack's closest competitor. Destiny Tech 100 is a US closed-end fund trading at a 50% premium to its NAV as of February 23rd, but they're trading at a 170% premium to their net asset value. And what's crazy is that's on the low side. At one point in the last year, Destiny traded at over a 7x premium to their NAV because of how much retail demand there is to get exposure to these private market assets like SpaceX. But when you look at Destiny as a whole, its investments are a really mixed bag. 17 out of Destiny's 24 investments are underwater, and they have an average loss of 69%. Compare that to Stack, which has just 2 investments out of 14 that have lost value. For every $1 you invest in Stack Capital, you get roughly 39 cents of SpaceX, 7 cents of Canva, 5 cents of OpenAI, and a penny of Databricks. That's over 50 cents of the top private companies, and the rest is mostly cash and CoreWeave stock. That's why I think if more investors knew Stack existed, it could trade at way more than 1x its net asset value, implying way higher upside. I modeled conservatively for a reason. This is a hidden gem, but there's also some major risks. So as investors, we always have to ask ourselves, what can go wrong with the thesis? The most obvious risk to Stack is that its investments go to zero. Private startups are very risky. And this is the case with investments they've made like Vero and Bolt, which are basically marked at nothing now. Pick a bad company and millions get wiped. This is part of the high risk, high reward game with venture. The macro is also critical. In the 2022 sell-off, Stack's book value stayed essentially flat, but the stock price declined 50%. The market has a brutal way of disconnecting price from value for extended periods, and with Stack having average volume of just 37,000 shares, liquidity is thin. Next, we have to contend with the CoreWeave stake. Even after selling roughly half their investment, it remains the fund's largest position. Now, CoreWeave stock is extremely volatile. I mean, this thing swings sometimes double digits on any given day. And I don't love it because, unlike competitors, starters, CoreWeave is built around billions in debt to finance the build out of its AI data centers. If the AI bubble pops, we could see it collapse more violently than others. Finally, like with every fund, there's fees that are going to eat away at your returns. Stack charges a management fee of 1.5% annually and a 15% performance fee. The good news is that performance fee only kicks in when book value per share is above a 1434 high watermark. With these risks in mind, though, we have to ask ourselves the big question. Is this company just a wild experiment, or is this really a winning asset for the modern retail investor? For years, the richest of tech have been captured without the public sharing in them. And the truth is that this isn't going to be changed anytime soon. Companies will continue to remain private for as long as possible. And that's why Stack is no doubt one of the most compelling opportunities if you want exposure to the asymmetry of private assets. A huge part of my investing strategy this year has been around identifying ways for retail investors to compound with these private businesses. And many of you know Kraken Robotics is my #1 position because it supplies Anduril subsea drones. There's a link there. Finding these mispriced opportunities can also create a bit of friction though. You can't buy Stack stock on a broker like Robinhood. Just like with Kraken Robotics, you can only purchase it on certain brokers that have access to the Toronto Stock Exchange or enable OTC stocks like Interactive Brokers, Fidelity, and Schwab. Overall, I started a position in Stack because I think it's the most undervalued access to the upside of the super IPO cycle. And honestly, I think the long term is kind of interesting as well. Investing in Stack is kind of like becoming an LP in a venture capital firm. Once Stack's existing portfolio companies finally go public, the fund's job is to go out and find the next OpenAI or SpaceX.
What are a couple of industries that you're eyeing right now that you're super excited about that maybe don't have very much public market exposure right now?
We have a laundry list, and we have a list of our top candidates behind the scenes. There's not a lot of really interesting AI companies out there in the public markets right now. Self-driving is another area where you're like 1 in 10 people are associated with driving a vehicle. And lastly, I would say space and defense. There are unbelievable companies that are being born right now. It's unbelievable the stuff that we're able to see in the private market that is future big IPO coming to the market.
Let me know in the comments what you think of Stack Capital, and make sure to join my free Discord to chat stocks, options, trading, and more. And if you want another awesome video about ways to play private market companies with public stocks, you can check out this video or this video to learn about ones targeting SpaceX and Anduril. Thank you very much, and I'll have a new video soon.